Welcome back to this week's edition of the Barroom Blitz. We're going to wrap up tonight's show with our favorite segment. High Five is back, Cheeks.
High five.
High five. We're back.
Hello,
Alex
five.
and Cheeks are going to talk top NFL defenses of all time, or that you've seen.
Well, defenses
Or
that you love.
in your lifetime.
That caught your eyes.
All right.
Yeah.
How are we going to start? Who wants to start?
I'll start because Alex don't know what the hell he's talking
Yeah,
about.
he doesn't
right
know.
now.
He doesn't have enough history in the back of his mind.
I'm going to start 5 Cowboys in the 90s because I love Charles Haley and all the guys.
I had them honorable
your boy?
mentions somewhere here. I don't know.
Eagles of the 80s, later 80s, early 90s.
Buddy Ryan,
Right.
90s.
That
Early 90s. late
Impressive
80s.
defense. Steelers of the
Gang Green.
70s.
Steel curtain. You got to go with the steel
they
curtain.
had-
Got to be on your
Hey,
list.
how you doing? The 1 year, I'm not sure what year it is. It was one of the years in 70. I don't think they went to the Super Bowl, but they let the average point of 12.6 points scored against them the 1 year.
Wow.
And they had D-back, well, all Hall of Famers now.
Yeah.
Now.
The steel curtain in 1976 only gave up 28 points in their last 9 games.
No
Wow.
shit. See
28 total
What
points.
year was that?
1976.
76.
And they lost to the Raiders. Because the Raiders went to the Super Bowl.
Right, they lost to the Raiders, right.
Because they went 74.
The number 2 is the Ravens of the 2000s.
I have them.
When Dilfer...
I have them on my
is
number
that when
5.
Dilfer... Was
Dilfer,
that
like,
90s?
yeah.
No, that was
90s?
2000.
Yeah.
When they won the Super Bowl. Dilfer
That was an
quarterback.
impressive defense.
Right.
You look at all the people they had on there. And
Ray
they're
Lewis,
still playing Suggs. And
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Well, they also had their playoff. I had this written down. The playoff wins, they only gave up 3, 10, 3, and 7 points in the 4 playoff wins.
I mean, that was an impressive defense.
10 points a game they averaged for a whole season. Only giving up 10 points a game.
But the number 1 defense was the
Incredible.
Raiders of the 70s.
Raiders. You had
They
the
were-
Raiders.
Just because they were nasty. Back when Michael Hayes had all that stuff on him
stick on
glaring
him.
at you.
Oh.
Yeah, Matuzak, you had Howie Long.
Michael
you had
Haynes, Lester
Michael
Hayes.
Hayes, Lester Hayes, all them guys.
Isn't that Phil Vera?
Ted Hendricks, the Stork.
Ted Hendricks, Matt
Lyle
Millen.
Alzado.
Matt Millen.
Matt Millen was like later, though. He wasn't in the 70s. He was the
yeah,
80
he
team.
was I wonder who the line. Well, they had Christensen as linebacker. They had like a Christensen.
No, Christensen was the flanker, the tight
They
end
had a
fullback.
guy at linebacker. I forget his name. He was good. They were they were an
Go
intimidating
figure,
team.
you forgot.
I forgot everything, but I'm telling you, when I can remember as a kid watching this team play Kansas City Steelers, and they were just beating the living hell and penalty. They didn't care.
They didn't care.
They'd
no.
have 10 penalties the first half.
Right.
And they would just sit there and laugh. I'd see Matuzak and Ted Hendricks and all that. They'd be laughing at Lyle Alzado was on that team too at
Yeah.
one point. They'd
Because he
just
got
be like-
traded from back and forth to
Denver,
Denver.
and he was also at Cleveland at some
Yeah,
point.
some
too.
point there.
He was. They were really. They were a nasty team. They
Oh,
really
yeah.
were.
Well, the one guy won the one linebacker. Who's the guy that got the 3 interceptions on the Eagles in the Super Bowl in the 80s? The 80s Super Bowl.
That was
Won the MVP.
Jerry Robinson. No.
No, Jerry Robinson was on the Eagles.
Oh,
Fair
he was
was
on the
him.
Eagles,
Yeah.
and then he went to the Raiders later.
Yeah. All right, who do you got there, Mr. Hagenbach?
Oh, I'm just giving some ones from nowadays.
Well, that's fine. You give the
all
new
right.
perspective.
I do have the
You're
Ravens
not as
from
old as
2000.
Jimmy. You're not as old as Jimmy. I know.
Right. Hey, I got to give a little more feel.
Feel.
I know more history than either of you two idiots.
You're not as old as Jimmy.
So
Yeah,
I do have the
okay.
Ravens in 2000. They are pretty.
All right.
They're
You
pretty
have them at
stud.
5. Wow.
Actually, you know what? Let's see.
No, don't
All right.
change it. Don't change it now.
No, I actually didn't put any in the 5.
No,
I
they're just going to bring
named
them up.
off.
You didn't rank them.
The Bucks from the late 90s and early 2000s.
I had that as an honorable
It's a good
mention.
team.
2002 Bucks is
2002
Warren
right there.
Sapp, Derek Brooks, John
Sapp,
Lynch.
Did you say the
Brooks,
Bears
That was
from
in it.
85?
What?
Did you say the Bears
No.
from 85?
No, you know what? I had the Bears down there, but that was 1 year.
Right.
And I don't know what happened. to the
15 and
Bears.
1 though. 46 defense.
They were good, but what
Singletary,
happened to that
Fridge,
Bear?
Buddy Ryan left. Kempton Eagles.
He left.
That was it.
What was it? The wrestler? Mongo. They called him Mongo.
Steve McMichael.
Steve McMichael
Dan
was
Hampton,
on that.
Gary Fensick, Wilbur Marshall,
Fensick, yeah.
Richard Dent, the
Richard
Fridge,
Dent, the
Mike
Fridge.
Singletary with the big eyes.
Good mention. I'll tell you what.
I got them as my number 4.
They had a
Monsters
good-
of the Midway.
Yeah.
Great name.
That's what
If they have a nickname, you got to be on the list.
That's what I
somewhere.
said. I put the
think.
nicknames down here
Yeah.
just at the bottom. The Purple People Eaters. That's a pretty
A
good.
good defense.
That's the Vikings in the 70s.
That's a good nickname.
Tremendous defense.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Yeah, good defense.
And honestly, you know what? I want to throw the 49ers in this because they
49ers I saw on a couple
have had
lists.
excellent defenses. Okay, they keep them in the
Nowadays
game.
49ers.
Yes, nowadays 49ers.
Wow.
Wow.
So
that's,
I like putting them in there because
Alright.
they basically got them. This is the third straight year in a row they got to the NFC Championship game.
Well, and you think they're better than Seattle in Seattle. You
Right
think that
now,
is?
yes.
Well, we're going to see, and I'm going to tell you what. If you want to watch a game, that is going to be the game because they are going to be pounding each other because both defenses think they're the best, and they're going to bull their neck and go nuts at each other.
Right.
And it's going to be really interesting to watch.
All right, Jim.
I'll run down mine. We are jam-packed tonight. People
Oh,
are
yeah.
coming
I
to
know,
see
we gotta
us
get moving.
perform.
I know.
All right, I got a couple. Honorable mention, I'll go through honorable. Doomsday defense of the Cowboys in
Right.
the 70s. Was that in there?
You know, the
You know,
only
Ed
problem is
Toole
they gave
told
up 30 points twice to the Steelers in the Super Bowl.
Right.
The only problem I have with that team.
Well, these are my teams that I got the Purple People Eaters, the Vikings in the 70s.
Good one, good
the
one.
no-name defense, the perfect season, and the Dolphins.
How did we forget that?
You know, and they had 2 Super Bowls they won.
Yes, Manny Fernandez. Wow.
The Fearsome
Dick-
Force and the Rams.
Fearsome
The Rams
Force.
in the early 70s with Deacon Jones and Merlin Olsen.
Yeah, that was kind of a fraud.
Well, and then you even have the Rams defense late in the 80s with the young bloods and stuff like that. They got
that
all
was
nasty.
A good, well, they went with Vince Ferragamo,
The
79. Yeah.
the New Orleans Saints with the 4 linebackers: Swilling, Vaughn Johnson, Sam Mills,
Yes. Good defense.
and Jackson, Ricky Jackson.
Ricky
Orange
Jackson,
Crush
Hall of
defense
Famer.
with Tom Jackson. I mean, that's the low down, but you know, and
It was a good defense.
I had the 2002 Bucks. I had the 2000 Ravens. I had the 2000 Ravens as my number 5 because I wanted to get a team that more recent.
Right.
I had the Bears defense in '85 as my number 4.
call.
The Giants in the '90s with Lawrence Taylor,
I don't know how
mid
we kinda
'80s to
forgot
'90s.
They
You
were
know,
impressive.
Larry LT, that linebacking core, Leonard
Beat
Marshall,
the living
Gary
hell out
Reeves,
of Joe Montana.
the Big Blue Wrecking Crew they were called.
Was that it?
Yep. I put the Eagles gangrene as my number 2 because it was a fun team to watch
Good
for
team.
me,
It was a good
especially
defense.
since it's your own team. You know what I mean?
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
you can even go with some of the Cowboys defenses in the '90s with Jimmy Johnson, the early '90s,
The early
because that's
ones,
when
yeah.
all those teams were good. Though the
Right.
Redskins had a great defense, the Giants had a good defense,
Niners
the Eagles
had a good defense.
Yeah, man, yeah, and the Niners had Ken Norton and all those guys.
Norton
you
and
know,
Plummer at the linebacker.
and whatever team
Dion.
Charles Haley was on was the defense to beat.
Exactly.
And then
He's
I
got
go,
5 rings, doesn't he?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
the only guy with 5 rings, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's
Only-
one
I
other.
believe he's the only guy with 5 minutes.
But then, of course, the Steelers was the team I grew up with was the Steel Curtain, Mean Joe Green, and all
They
those
were
guys.
a good
Jack
defense.
Ham, Jack Lambert, Mel Blount. They had the 76 team had 8 Pro Bowlers starting.
Wow.
8 out of 11 guys were starting in the
Wow.
Pro Bowl.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
yeah, and that's with the Raiders. The Raiders team too.
With teams out there.
But if they did the same
Denver-
voting system, I guarantee some people didn't vote for Raiders because they couldn't stand them
Right.
because they hated everyone hated the Raiders.
Oh, that's why I never like
You
you
know,
know how I
you
never
hated it
hated
and
the
feared 'em.
villain like a villain in wrestling.
Right.
They were the villain.
Right.
They were the heel.
Oh,
it was
yes.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a
Hate it.
defense too. I forgot San Diego's defense in '70. They were really good that year. What did they give up? Like 37 points a game?
I don't
or
know.
something? Poor Dan
That's
Fouts.
before. That's
Poor Dan Fouts is throwing the
Oh,
shit
yeah.
out of his arm. His defense can't stop
Yeah.
nobody.
I'm thinking about the 2013 Dallas Cowboys defense.
Defense
with
is going to
Monty
be right
Kiffin.
there.
Yeah, we'll mention
Monty
him in like
Kiffin,
20
the young
years.
man.
Monty Kiffin's great defense. All right, well, that wraps up another great show here. We will see you next week for some more Barroom Blitz.
Dot
Come.